Have you ever wondered why a woman truly falls in love with a man? What makes her heart choose one man over another, even when she has options? The truth is, women only fall in love for two powerful reasons. And once you understand these, you'll stop being confused about what women really want, and you'll start to attract love in a way that lasts. Reason 1: emotional safety and security. When we talk about why a woman falls in love, one of the deepest and most powerful reasons is emotional safety and security. This is not the same as financial security or physical protection, though those can matter too. What makes her heart attach itself to a man is the sense that she can trust him with her inner world, that she can reveal parts of herself that she hides from everyone else, and that she won't be judged, shamed, or abandoned for showing that side. Emotional safety means she can be vulnerable without fear, and vulnerability is where true intimacy begins. Many men overlook this because they focus on surface-level attraction, but what keeps a woman in love and strengthens her bond is knowing she is safe in your presence emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Think about it. Women live in a world that constantly tells them to be guarded. They are often warned against trusting too easily, against opening up, against giving their hearts to someone who might misuse it. Society tells them to stay cautious because heartbreak and betrayal are common. So when a man shows himself to be consistent, dependable, and trustworthy, he becomes rare in her eyes. Emotional safety is not created by words alone. It's created through actions that match the words. If a man says he cares but dismisses her feelings, she won't feel safe. If he promises loyalty but entertains other options, she won't feel secure. Safety is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about being reliable enough that she knows your love isn't conditional on her flaws or on temporary circumstances. Another aspect of emotional safety is how a man handles conflict. Every relationship will face disagreements, but how those disagreements are managed either builds or destroys the sense of security. If a man raises his voice, insults her, or withdraws love whenever tension rises, he teaches her that being honest about her needs is dangerous. On the other hand, if he can remain calm, listen with patience, and express himself without tearing her down, she learns that even in difficult moments, she is still safe with him. This is powerful because love does not thrive in fear. When a woman feels that she has to hide her truth to keep the peace, she loses the freedom to connect authentically. But when she realizes she can bring all parts of herself into the relationship, the messy, complicated, emotional, and even insecure parts, then she bonds on a level that no physical attraction can ever replicate. Emotional security also means stability. A woman does not fall in love with a man whose emotions swing unpredictably from one extreme to another. She cannot trust someone who disappears when life gets hard or who makes her feel like she has to walk on eggshells. She falls in love with consistency because consistency signals safety. This doesn't mean a man has to hide his emotions, but it does mean he has to master them. When he is in control of himself, he creates a sense of calm in the relationship. That calm allows her to soften, to let go of her defenses, and to surrender to love fully. Without that stability, she will always keep one foot out the door because her instincts tell her not to fully trust someone who feels unstable. Many men confuse emotional safety with being overly nice or constantly agreeing with everything she says. That is not safety, that is weakness. Safety comes from strength, from showing that you can handle her truth without collapsing, without becoming insecure, without making it about your ego. Safety is when she cries, and you don't tell her to stop crying, but you also don't drown in her emotions. Safety is when she tells you her fears, and instead of dismissing them or laughing at them, you take them seriously even if they don't make sense to you. Safety is when she tests your patience because she's scared of being hurt, and you show her through your steadiness that you're not going anywhere. This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect, but it does mean understanding that love requires emotional strength, and that strength makes her feel safe. When a woman feels emotionally safe, she opens her heart in ways that are extraordinary. She lets down her guard. She shares her secrets. She invests herself fully. That is when love deepens beyond attraction and chemistry. That is when she begins to see you not just as a man she desires, but as a man she can build her life around. Emotional safety is the foundation, and without it, everything else eventually crumbles. Reasons 2, admiration and respect. When it comes to love, admiration and respect are at the core of why a woman chooses to give her heart to a man. Without admiration, attraction fades. Without respect, love feels shallow and temporary. A woman cannot truly love a man she does not look up to in some way. That doesn't mean he has to be perfect, wealthy, or powerful in the world's eyes, but it does mean she has to see qualities in him that inspire her. Qualities that make her feel proud to stand beside him. Admiration is not about idolizing someone, but about recognizing his strength, his discipline, his purpose, and his character. Respect is about seeing him as someone she cannot easily replace, someone whose presence in her life elevates her. When those two elements are missing, she might enjoy temporary attraction, but she cannot sustain deep, lasting love. Many men misunderstand admiration. They think it comes from showing off, bragging, or proving their worth constantly. In reality, admiration comes from authenticity and quiet strength. It is built when a man is committed to his growth, when he has standards for his own life, when he leads himself before he ever tries to lead anyone else. A woman admires a man who knows who he is and where he's going. Direction matters, because direction signals leadership, and leadership inspires respect. A man who drifts aimlessly through life, who changes his values depending on what others want, who lacks vision, might still attract attention, but he will not hold admiration. Women may enjoy his company, but they will not fall deeply in love because love cannot grow without respect. Respect is earned in the small things. It's in how a man carries himself, in how he speaks, in how he treats people who have nothing to offer him. A woman notices these things. She notices whether he is disciplined with his time or careless. She notices whether he keeps his word or breaks promises easily. She notices whether he stands firm in his values when it's inconvenient or whether he bends to pressure. These observations create admiration over time. When she sees consistency, when she sees integrity, when she sees strength, her feelings grow stronger because she trusts that his character is not dependent on circumstances. That trust becomes respect, and respect becomes love. Admiration also comes from a man's ability to master himself. Women respect men who are in control of their emotions, not men who are slaves to them. A man who reacts impulsively, who lashes out in anger, who becomes jealous or insecure at the slightest trigger, loses respect quickly. On the other hand, a man who can feel his emotions yet handle them with maturity shows strength that commands admiration. A woman admires a man who does not crumble under pressure, who does not lose his sense of self when life gets difficult. She admires a man who knows how to remain steady in chaos, because steadiness makes her feel safe. The combination of safety and admiration is what transforms attraction into love. There is also admiration for purpose. A man who has no purpose, no ambition, no drive might win temporary attention with charm or appearance, but he will not hold a woman's respect. Women fall in love with men who are going somewhere, who are building something, who stand for something beyond themselves. This doesn't mean he has to be famous or successful in the eyes of society, but he must be pursuing a path that shows discipline, courage, and resilience. A man's purpose gives him direction, and that direction makes him magnetic in her eyes. She admires not just what he has, but who he is becoming. Admiration is tied to growth, because a man who is stagnant becomes less attractive over time, while a man who keeps evolving inspires her to evolve with him. Respect is also about boundaries. A woman cannot respect a man who has no boundaries, who tolerates disrespect, who sacrifices his self-worth just to please her. Many men believe that giving a woman everything she asks for will make her love them, but the opposite often happens. She loses respect for a man who abandons himself for approval. Respect is maintained when a man stands firm, when he sets standards for how he wants to be treated, and when he is willing to walk away rather than accept less than he deserves. Women admire men who respect themselves because self-respect shows strength. It communicates that his value does not depend on her, but on the standards he holds within himself. When admiration and respect are present, love becomes natural. A woman does not have to force it because her heart naturally gravitates towards a man she looks up to. She feels proud to be with him, not just because of how he makes her feel, but because of who he is. She loves him not only for the attention he gives her, but for the strength, purpose, and direction he embodies. At the end of the day, love is not as complicated as people make it out to be. Women don't fall in love with games, with empty words, or with temporary attraction. They fall in love for two reasons: because they feel safe in your presence, and because they admire who you are as a man. If you want lasting love, focus less on chasing and more on becoming. Build yourself into someone who can provide emotional security and live with such discipline and strength that you naturally earn respect. When you do this, you won't have to convince a woman to love you. She will feel it deeply, and she will choose you with her whole heart.